And with this, it kind of has good aspects and bad aspects. So, for instance, with the Western for the first part, it's got all the kind of character stereotypes that you see mostly. Like, there's the sheriff, there's the kind of mysterious mysterious guy that kind of, he's got a dark backstory that they associate to. There's the kind of bumbling deputy, and then there's the devoted husband that's kind of following them just to try and save his wife from these savages. And it's in these kind of moments where you can kind of see that even though it's following these kind of basic genre structures, is that it's actually a very good script behind it. Like, you wouldn't expect from a first film, essentially. Yeah. But a first film it is. But it's actually really quite cleverly written. Like, it's easy to compare it to kind of Tarantino kind of style now, especially if it's a Western, and where the people kind of talk about nonsense, but they kind of talk about stuff that's not related, and through it they kind of give away aspects of their character. Right. And it's all about how that kind of blends into one plot, essentially. And it's also good that you can kind of see from this is that the performances behind it. So Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Richard Jenkins, they all kind of give great performances, which again you wouldn't suspect from such a small budget film.
Well, I'd be interested to know what you thought of Richard Jenkins, because I always think
Jenkins was probably the best one.
He's always underrated.
Really underrated.
He's always the secondary. I mean, the only thing that I've spotted him from that I can remember was Cabin in the Woods.
But he's in Liberal Arts as well. He's really great in that. There's a couple other films.
And The Visitor.
Oh,
really
I know
good in that.
I feel like he likes low budget horror because he was in Turbo Kid apparently as well.
Was he?
Yeah, like in a really small role. Yeah, I think he's the voice of a character or something like that.
That would make sense.
But and it's kind of so the good aspects of the Western is that it's got a good script and it's got good performances to it, basically, and it kind of raises up the standardness of it. As for the horror aspect of it, it's kind of harkening back to this. Well, from looking up, it's kind of referencing the cannibal film. So it's a
like Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, exactly, Cannibal Holocaust. So it's kind of this series of exploitation films, that kind of Italian exploitation films from the 60s, and it's kind of getting a bit of resurgence now at the moment, because there's the Green Inferno that Eli
I just
Roth
saw
filmed.
that this week, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's terrible.
Because they've got that, and then the director of The Girl That Walks Home Alone at Night, she's doing one right after this.
All right.
That's also a cannibal film, and that's starring Jim Carrey.
Oh my!
Which sounds strange, but yeah, it's kind of going through a mini. Yeah, it's kind of going through a mini resurgence at the moment, and it does that bit well. Like, it's only the last quarter of the film, but it's very, very visceral gore, very but the thing that really stood out for me for that aspect was the sound design, because I mean it's easy for cheap films to just have really standard kind of, they Google blood sound or something like that, but it was so horrifying, the sounds even more so than the visuals, and also there's like the cannibals kind of had this howling noise that it's so chilling that you wouldn't really find in something where they put less effort in. But that's kind of the good part of the horror, is that it's got all the gore and it's got all the sound design very well. But then on top of all this, there are the bad aspects. So, for instance, I feel like the director doesn't like the Western aspect as much as he likes the horror film, so it kind of drags in the Western bit, which is around 3/4 of the film.
Yeah.
And it's dragged by these. So they kind of, I said before, they kind of talk about useless things in a very Tarantino way, but they kind of, it's like they talk about this useless thing, but with an underlying point that it does add something to the character. But there are so many of these scenes that they feel useless in that. So I don't really need another scene where they build up this character, because we've only got 2 hours and it spends 1 hour 40 of them getting to the cannibals.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, it starts off very good and very it captivates you from the beginning, and then you kind of lose interest throughout it. And by the time it gets to the final scene, you're hooked because it's so chilling and it's so in your face, but then by that time you kind of stop caring about the characters. And also with the horror aspect of it, it's kind of like a Western where all the characters make stupid decisions. So it's the horror idea. It's like, oh, we have to do this, but then things are going to get worse, and then we'll do this to make it better, but it's going to get worse because it's a stupid idea. And I don't know, basically it was fine throughout most of it. I mean, it had really good aspects to it, and it's a director that I think would be good to follow. So he's definitely, if he has like the right people backing him, he could definitely make a really great film. And you can tell that he likes films just from the references that he's got within it. But no, it was just average through most of it, and it kind of weakened the ending. And so I overall I'd give it like a 7 out of 10 again. Okay. That means that I've given every film
3 sevens.
That's 3 sevens. Yeah, it's becoming my new
triple
6.
7.
Yeah, it is.
Triple
It's
9.
becoming my new
6.
6.
Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, that means that I like them all more than a 6 out of 10. But it's a film that I would recommend that people that like kind of slower and gorier films, but if not, then don't watch it.
This film, I kind of feel like I just want to watch the end of this film now, rather than the whole of it, because slow films really bore the hell out of me. So.
Some people compared it to the end of The Descent. I mean, I haven't seen the end of The Descent, but it's very you kind of. Ooh. You kind of want to look away at the same time, but also you want to watch.
It's rare that you find a film that intense.
Yeah.
So, but I'll look into this.
Yeah, and I did not expect it to be 18 before I went in. So.